morning, girls and boys. Good morning, and welcome to our friends and family who are here to witness our dual threat assembly today, our Asian culture and our Martin Luther King assembly. You're going to see dances, hear instruments, song, poetry, shadow puppets, and a bunch of other things that are going to knock your socks off. It's that type of day. So we'd like to welcome all of you here. Before we get started, I would just like to invite all of you to notice the exit signs to the front, back, and front left on both sides of the gym. In the event of any type of an emergency, you will make your way out of the gym. I would also ask that if anyone has a cell phone and you're not using it for recording purposes, if you have it on ring, if you could please put it on vibrate. We're going to hear so many different sounds today, we don't want to mix up the phone ringing with anything else. This is our second assembly, and I think from this point forward, we may not have to make the announcement anymore, but our second assembly in a row that we have live streaming. So thank you to Ms. Wong and the students that she's been working with. Our live streaming is taking place stage right in the front. Mr. Parker, I would also like to thank you for doing an amazing job as always. Mr. Parker, give it up for Mr. Parker. He's going to put that on the editing floor, I know, but in a couple of weeks it will be on a loop that you can watch on the local cable channel over and over and over and see just how well you did. Are you ready? Yeah! Okay, then I ask for those of you who are sitting in a chair to sit back, and for those of you sitting on the floor, sit up and get ready for an exciting, wonderful program coordinated by Mr. Farah and Mr. Roberts. Without any delay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roberts.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mastrangelo. We will begin with our video presentation, Kid President talking about Dr. King.
Once upon a time, there's a man named Martin Luther King Jr. It's funny to think about because now we know his name so well, but at one time he was just a kid. Like maybe you're a kid watching this. Well, he was a kid too. Well, maybe you're a grown-up. That's okay too. Former kids are welcome here. I don't discriminate. Martin Luther King grew up to be a great man, of course. But things weren't all that great in the world while he was growing up. Not everybody was treated like they were somebody. And I believe that you should treat everybody like it's their birthday. But they didn't do that. People looked at the color of their skin. And that's how they decided if they were friends or not. Not cool, man. That didn't make him feel good. That didn't make anybody feel good. But his parents helped him grow up. He went to church. He learned about love. He grew up to be a minister to help a lot of people. He did all sorts of cool stuff. He helped a lot of people learn about love too. But still he looked around and said, things should be better. He wanted to change things, so he did stuff. He decided instead of spreading the hate, he would spread the love. He wanted to bring people together. Where people were hurting, he stepped in to help. He marched with them. He walked with them. He walked arm in arm with everyone. Sometimes it didn't go well, but he kept going. Sometimes he ended up in prison, but he kept going. Some people didn't like him, but he kept going. Some days were hard, but he kept going. Love does that, it just keeps going, even when things are dark. And, well, I don't like this part of the story, but things did get pretty dark. Someone who didn't agree with him shot him. He died in April 1968. Now, kid President, why are you telling us this sad story? Come on. I know. I'm sorry, but it happened. I don't like that happened. Now I gotta tell you something. When things aren't awesome, it can be tough. And things will always be awesome, but your response can be. Martin Luther King's response? It was awesome. Today I just wanted us to think about this. Isn't it cool that we can change things? Like any of us, anybody. He dreamed and he changed things. And he dreamed and he kept sharing his dreams. They became not just his dream, a lot of people's dream. Like this one. I have a dream that little black boys and black girls will join hands with white boys and white girls and become sisters and brothers. That's a pretty good dream. Let's dream like that. That could change things.
Don't touch it. Come close. Do not touch it.
Once there was a gentleman who talked about the promised land. He reached out and took the problems of the people in a strong black hand. He had a dream that everybody ought to hear the bells of freedom ring. Now the people shout and sing about the dream of Martin Luther King. Sing about the dream of Martin Luther King. In this land he saw the people walking. Black folk, white folk, red folk, yellow folk, loving each other with pride. Now these are the people for the day the dream became a real thing. But you'll hear the angels sing about the dream of Luther King. Sing about the dream about Luther King. Oh, the dream of Luther King. Oh, the dream of Martin Luther King. Sing about the dream of Martin Luther King. He was a man who loved peace. He found faith and belief. He preached that violence was wrong. He knew the fight would be long. He walked a dangerous way. He talked about a new day. He knew the life was slow. He sang, "We shall overcome." Oh, the dream of Martin Luther King. Oh, the dream of Martin Luther King. Sing about the dream of Martin Luther King.
Buenos dias. Good morning. I'm here on a new role. This is taking part in the Asian Cultural Assembly, and when Mr. Roberts asked me to take part, I was super excited because I like to play the taiko drums as a hobby of mine, which is what this drum is right here. It's a taiko drum. It's from Japan. Originally, the taiko drum was used in Japan over centuries in battle, and the taiko drum would give courage to the soldiers who were going off to battle. Over time, the monks who lived in the mountains began to use the taiko drum to deepen their meditation. And then now in modern times, it's used in different celebrations and dances, such as the ribbon dance and the line dance.
church everywhere. If peace is a garden, I'll tend every seed. If peace is a book, I'll have to read. But peace is more than all of these things, more than a book or a bell that rings. It's more than the work of just one or two. Peace is the work that we all must do. Peace is a promise we make one another to love and protect and to care for each other. It's a hand waving friendship, a smile on a face, a kind word indeed, anytime, any place. Peace is a promise, it's something we do, for peace is a promise kept always by you.
Govinda,
pieces by Jane Basquiat, as interpreted by Mrs. Rothmarino's class. Shane and Eileen are our narrators. Big hand, big applause, please. While Mrs. Rothmarino's class is walking onto the stage, I think they're going to be doing something after this. Let's hear another applause for them. And this particular song was introduced by Mrs. Slotnick, our second grade teacher. And after she sets up, maybe she'll say a word or two about it. But we're very, very pleased to introduce this to the school this year. Ms. Slotnick is going to be setting up a harmonium. The chorus, please join me over on this side.
Okay, so good morning. I didn't know I was going to speak, but that's okay. So what I'm going to play is called the harmonium. It originated in England, I believe, and then was brought over to India. It's basically a baby organ. And so I pump it with one hand and I play the keys with the other. And it has a beautiful sound, and it makes me happy, so I learned to play it. So then I said to Mr. Roberts, I'd love to share this music with the children. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to sing, I believe it's in Hindi, and then English, and then in Spanish. Okay, here we go.
The history of shadow puppetry is very old, ancient. I have in front of me one of the original, a shadow puppet from Indonesia. The shadow puppetry started in the East, in Asia, in China, India, very, very popular art form. This happens to come from Indonesia, and there are many figures that I have in the back, but this is the one that I could pull up right now. It's said that one of the rumors is that it started in China with the Emperor Wu, who lost his wife at a very young age. He was so sad, so despondent that he would not run the country, and he didn't run the country at all. He just sort of gave up. One of the ideas was to have a likeness of her on a shadows, on a screen, and what happened was he had some of the artists make it. They put it on a shadow screen, and every night he would watch this, and it would remind him of his young wife, that his young bride that died at such an early age. It revived him to the point where he was able to continue working. He became a wonderful emperor. And so that's just one of the legends of the origins of the shadow screen. I'll just take this in the back so that you can see what this one looks like. And of course, you have to be a master puppeteer in order to work all of these. This is not easy to do, but at least I'll just put it against the shadow screen so that you can see it. And here at Highview, we have been experimenting with that for the last 3 years. We have worked on a Chinese folktale for the past 2 or 3 years, and now we have a new one called The Greatest Treasure. So as soon as this is over, we are going to see an interpretation of The Greatest Treasure. And just one note about that, this particular folktale. Of course, it has to do with music, and it has to do with what's important in life. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide what is the greatest treasure. Let me show you this shadow screen. This puppet. And pass it. Some of these shows you think 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. So this is just one character of many, many characters. And sometimes they can go on for days with lots of music. The same xylophones that we have here. So it would be very involved. So this is just the beginning of our show. But we are now getting ready for the greatest treasure.
Long ago in China, there lived a rich man named Pang. All day long, Pang worried about his money. He counted and sorted it. He worried how he should spend it and how he could get more. Pang had 5 sons. When his sons wanted to play with him, he scowled. "I'm much too busy," he cried.
Then he ran to their mother. She would say, "Remember the great proverb, my sons. With money you are a dragon, without it you are a worm." Not far away lived a poor man named Lee. All day long he worked his small farm. But whenever he had a chance, he pulled out the flute he had made and played a merry song. Whenever Lee played his flute, his wife and 5 daughters sang and danced. The sound of music and laughter filled the air. Oh, sorry.
Day and night, the music and laughter from Lee's farm reached Pang in his great house. "This merriment must stop," declared Pang.
Pang had an idea. If Lee were rich, he thought he would not have time to make so much noise. Pang filled a large bag with money. Then he rode in his carriage to Lee's door and delivered his gift. "I wish to share my treasure with you," said Pang to Lee. "Please take these gold coins. Use them wisely." Lee could hardly believe his eyes. He had never seen so many gold coins.
"What should I do with this money?" wondered Lee. "First I must count it." So he set out the coins in piles on the floor, and he counted them.
But he began to worry that he had not counted correctly. So he counted the coins again. Then he counted them one more time. Before he had finished, a whole day had passed, and he had not played his flute at all. The next day, Lee began to worry that someone might steal the money. "I must hide it," he said, "but where?" First, Lee stuffed the bag inside the stove. Then he put it in the cellar. Then he tried the rafters. Finally, he dropped it into the well. Before he had finished, another day had passed, and Lee had not played his flute at all.
The next day, Lee began to worry about how he should spend this money. First, he thought he should buy an ox. Then he thought he should buy a plow.
Then he thought he should buy 6 fat hens. Then he thought he should buy a fine rope. Before he could think any more, another day had passed, and Lee had not played his flute at all. The next day, Lee began to worry again. "What if I have less money than I thought?" he wondered. So he pulled the bag up from the well and began to count the coins once more. "Father," said the youngest girl, "won't you please play your flute so we can sing and dance as we used to?" Lee scowled. "I am much too busy," he cried. Now he had lost count of his funds and had to begin again. Then Lee's wife spoke. "Remember the great proverb, my daughters. He who has heaven in his heart is never poor."
Suddenly, Lee stopped counting and laughed out loud. "Now I know what I must do with this money," he cried. "I must give it back."
He kicked over the the piles of coins, then he pulled on the flute and began to play. Around him, his wife and daughter sang and danced, and laughter filled the air again. Then Lee felt sorry for Peng. He decided to present Peng with a gift, and he worked all night till the gift was ready. The next morning, Lee and his family walked to the great house of Peng. I must return you gracious gifts, said Lee to Peng. This treasure almost robbed me of my happiness. Peng was so surprised, he couldn't say a word. I'll turn around.
Now please, let me share my treasure with you, said Lee. And he handed Peng a package inside with flutes that Lee had made. One for Peng, one for his wife, and one for each of Peng's 5 sons.
Lee gave flutes to his wife and 5 daughters too. Then he brought out his own flute and began to play a merry song. Lee's family cheered and began to dance and play. Peng's wife and 5 sons blew into their new flutes, and soon they too were dancing and playing merry songs. Peng covered his ears. How will I keep track of my counting now? He cried. Then Lee said, remember the great proverb, my friend? Gold and silver have their price, but peace and happiness are priceless. Peng smiled. You are right, he said. Then he too began to play on the flute that Lee had given him.
And now they shared the greatest treasure of all.
The greatest treasure, ladies and gentlemen. When I first learned how to do puppetry, I soon realized that this was teamwork. And what a wonderful thing for children to do. Not only do you have to have musicians, but you have to have artists, you have to have puppeteers, and you have to have choreographers. That's not easy, so I'd like another round of applause for our classes, please. In addition to all of the teachers, including Ms. Wasserman and Ms. Sanders-Conjo's classes, I would like to thank Ms. Cummings. Ms. Cummings, can you come out? Mr. Farrer, please come out. Ms. Flowers, Ms. Jackson, Ms. Peters, Ms. Tucci, Ms. Wong. Please come out and join me. So, my sisters, when my sisters were in the All City Chorus, they sang a song which I never forgot, and it was "No Man Is an Island." And looking at all of these people here and all of you here, I could never have done this by myself. This was overwhelming. Even trying to do half of this was overwhelming. But I also wanted to give thanks to, and I'm not sure if they're here, but the artists who made all of this work come alive. Because of time, I would have done it here at Highview School, but I ran out of time, so I asked Miss Christina Ramos-Payne and Marina Payne to work on the artwork. Are they here today? Okay. They work at the Greenberg Public Library, okay? And as does my daughter. And so my daughter recommended that they do some work for, if I wished. And so they did all of the illustrations. They did everything here. If time allows, and if I'm able to do it, the next show or in the next few years, we'll do one right here. It will be in-house. But right now I want to, even though they're not here, please give an applause to Christina Ramos-Payne, Marina Payne. I forgot the quote right now that one of the children just read, but it was about peace. And I just want to say, again, the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King comes full circle. We've gone to the East. Gandhi was from the East, and Gandhi was a man of peace. Dr. Martin Luther King, somebody asked me yesterday, why do we even have a day off in his honor? And it was a great question. All I can say at this point, Dr. King was a man of peace. Everything that we're trying to do here for the children is to show cooperation, peace, and love. Paz y amor. So with that, I'm turning this over to Mr. Mastrangelo, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I can't say any more than that, Mr. Roberts, but I can ask for one more big round of applause for everyone, including Mr. Roberts, who put on a spectacular show today. I knew we would. Boys and girls, you were fantastic. You did an excellent job. The performances were wonderful. The shadow puppets, the poetry, everything was just excellent. Our individual readers, you did a fabulous job. Very, very proud of all of you. I want to thank all of you for